can digital history be at the core of this exhibition project?
In relation to both exhibitions and, if you like, the presentation of digital material, I always think that the first thing you have to do is to think through the user experience and not think of it necessarily as, you know, kind of an addition, but the digital can be at the core of that. And the example I always go back to is the Museum of Old and New Art at Hobart in Tasmania, which is a complete weird place. It is a Bond villain's cave, built 160 feet, dug into the raw limestone of Tasmania, and the guy who's established is a complete lunatic billionaire. But what he's done is, first of all, put together a collection of wild stuff, but then also created an app and an environment that allows you to follow through that material on an iPhone. So basically, when you walk into the exhibition, you start at the top. They give you this iPhone, and you then are taken all the way down 160 feet, and then you wander back up through this cave. And every time you walk past an exhibition, not only does it record your movements and how you move through the space, it also gives you an opportunity to vote, to swipe right or left on every object, so that they're developing a record of how people respond. You also have the opportunity to put comments and all the rest of it. And when you get back to Hobart, which you can only do by ferry, by the way, it is a very weird museum. You then get to download your journey, and it's presented to you in a kind of 3D environment on your phone, and you can go back and repeat that process. So at some level, there is an opportunity with digital technologies, with phones and georeference stuff, to allow people to think differently about how they engage with an exhibition. So that in a sense becomes, for me, the kind of starting point and the most exciting thing you can do with these technologies. On the other hand, there is that other thing, and let's face it, you know, how can I put it? The online is the largest library that the world's ever seen. The Library of Alexandria is nothing to it. The British Library, the Library of Congress, nothing to what you can find through a Google search. And bringing that massive reference library to bear on that individual experience strikes me as the second side of the digital elements of exhibition and behavior. And what you do here, I don't know. I mean, obviously there are all kinds of things that you can imagine happening. There's a lot of music in this exhibition, this proposed exhibition. You know, that playlist. You know, most exhibitions using music now would have a 30-second sample. Why not have a 200 item playlist that provides depth to the story that you're trying to tell? And it really gets down to the nature of storytelling through material space and exhibitions. And all of these exhibitions end up being a narrative. They go from one place to another, and they're asking the person walking through to take that journey with them. And once you do that, and once you think, well, where can we fit the digital into that, you know, alternative narratology? I mean, there are all kinds of critical theoretical takes on the evolution of narrative and how hypertextuality, for example, should work. And I am kind of waiting for museums to figure that out. So obviously, you know, every journey through an exhibition is an individual one. It's defined by that single person. And yet the exhibition itself tends to be designed to be walked from one place to another. And I just think that there's got to be a way of using the online and that, if like, embedded wider archive of material to personalize that journey, either by bringing in something like that Hobart technology, or by simply adding depth and selectivity to what you can bring to an individual place at a particular time, or simply by adding bells and whistles one way or the other, and directions and flashing flashing arrows on a wall that suggests alternatives.